Okay, everybody, welcome to the 42nd Heroscon. I believe it's the 42nd. It's from 1982 till now, and we're minusing 2020 because it didn't happen. But we've got a lot to show for you this time, and what I'm going to tell you is we got a nice voice actress from X-Men 97. We've got a comic book creator. We've got multiple artists and tons of cosplayers. So please watch all the way through and let me know if you like it.
So we're Popcycle Baubles. We are a husband-wife group. My name is Sean. My wife's name is Laura. And what we do is we actually create all of our own artwork, and then we sublimate it onto a bunch of different items, such as drinkware and coasters. At really large shows, we'll also have things like bags and hair scrunchies. But the goal of our company is to basically create awesome artwork from pop culture and different types of stuff that we all love, and make it in our own art style, because so many people do AI artwork or they just lift stuff on the internet. We really want to create something special and that is unique for them to find when they come to a show. Well, we love coming to shows because we get to meet people and just have a good time. And one of the things that we notice is people will love our stuff, but they don't know if it's necessarily for them. And over the years, I have just learned to tell them, hey, first off, you will never upset somebody if you say, thank you so much for your time, and just walk away. We're vendors, we see so many people, it really is not a problem. But for us, we're the no pressure sale place. We want you to find the thing that is awesome. We know we're awesome. So we need to make sure that we're awesome for you. And if we're not, we want you to go out on the show floor. We want you to find that thing that makes you happy and buy it. And if it doesn't happen to be us, that's okay. One day we'll be your awesome, and you'll come and find us and you'll buy something from us then. So we're just really happy to be here, have conversations, and just enjoy the experience of getting to learn and meet other people, because that itself is how we run, and people love that because they know we're never going to pressure them.
What is some of your best-selling items?
So it depends on the show and what new artwork we introduce. We introduced a lot of new items for this show. Right now, one of our best sellers is our Has-Been Hotel artwork. I did a chibi version from the cartoon. Just warning for parents, it's pretty much going to be older teenagers and adults, so don't let your kids watch this one. But people have loved that one. I've also done this amazing Hello Kitty, Steamboat Willie versus Godzilla in the -1 style, where he's chasing the boat, but it's Steamboat Willie, which is hilarious. So Mickey Mouse is just losing his mind. But a lot of other things that sell really well are going to be some of our anime designs, such as the One Piece Jolly Rogers, as well as our My Hero Academia. And then, surprisingly, I like to make a lot of pop culture references that are a little bit more dated. I make stuff from like the 80s and 90s. So The Last Dragon, I didn't think anybody would buy this. I sell out of these two all the time. And I love that. And then, of course, things like the classic comic book characters are well, but really, it's going to be just really fun stuff that you wouldn't think would sell super well. Just boom.
So what makes your coasters different than others?
Well, I would say our attention to detail. Laura is a perfectionist. She wants everything to spark a certain value of happiness from the people who love that fandom. So I'll make the artwork, and if it's not making her really excited, she's like, it's not there yet, let's try it again. And so we really work our way to finding and making we like to call it bespoke imagery, so that way it really speaks to the people when they see it. Whereas I think a lot of other places, they'll just slap a logo on that they found from the internet, or it's just a very simple design versus, for instance, the One Piece over here. I can't do a lot about the One Piece logo. It looks the way it does. But what I do is I make sure to put a beautiful texture in it, and I make sure that I paint just a wonderful deep imagery, so that way it accentuates the piece versus it being very flat, and people love that.
Tell us about the cups.
Oh my Lord, the cups. Like, the cups are amazing and people love these, but the cups come in so many different flavors. But we have our 32-ounce cups, and these are double insulated, so that way they can keep your hot things hot and your cold things cold. But people also love all of our glassware, because we have some that change color when they get cold, like these guys over here. And then on the far side, they change color in the UV light. So when they go out to the sun, they actually change color, and then they also charge. So when you bring them back inside, they glow in the dark.
Very cool.
And they love that. And then, of course, we also have the big, gigantic 40-ounce tumbler, like Stanley-looking cups, and they love those. But we just introduced them at this show. But again, people have loved looking at them. They love the designs, and we love the idea of bringing more unique artwork to those.
One last thing.
Yes.
How do people get a hold of you after the con?
So we are a con-exclusive booth. We basically only sell at shows. So if you don't see us at a convention, you should definitely follow us online, and that would be at PopCycled. That's going to be on most social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and also TikTok. So if you follow us on those platforms, you're going to be able to find us, and you'll see where we're going to be at our next show. So feel free to come and say hello. And if you ask really nicely and we have the time, we're more than happy to send you something if you want to order it. But please understand, if we don't, it's because we're getting ready for the next show and we just don't have the time and just to come out and see us at the next show.
How did you get into voice acting from the beginning?
Well, you know, people ask me that a lot, and it really isn't a mystery. Like, once you're an actor, and I'm a union actor in Canada, my agency, I have an on-camera. Should I speak to the lens or speak to you?
Either way.
Okay, I'd rather talk to you if that's okay.
And I'll be right. Yeah.
So my agency I have an on-camera agent, but I have a voice agent within the agency, and they send you out in auditions. They get breakdowns from producers, they break breakdowns from a casting breakdown company, and then they send them out to the agents, and the agents go, oh, well, this would be appropriate for so-and-so, and they send you out in auditions. That's how we all got the X-Men. That's how so it's no different really than on camera, except now with voice, you do, on camera is all self-taped since the pandemic as well,
right.
But voice was self-taped long before the pandemic. But now, because of the pandemic, we all have, recording, depending on some very sophisticated, some kind of crude. Mine's fairly crude, but it really works. And I do work at home,
That's what my next question was going to be, is do you have your own studio?
It's a studio-ish. But, it's funny, during the pandemic, it was fine for them. And I just recorded something, and they do a test. Like they'll hook you up the day before, through software, through Source Connect, and they'll do a test with the room and everything. And suddenly their standards have gone way up since the pandemic is over because they're trying to get people back in the studios.
Yeah.
So, whoops, I just touched the mic.
You're fine.
So, yeah, actually, we're back in the studio for most things. I am for X-Men always. I have been for the last year.
When you did Jean Grey for the original,
Yeah.
How long was that process for doing one season? From one to the next.
You know, I remember, especially the first season, we must have recorded those first episodes, I don't know how many times. And well, for instance, X-Men 97, I took what, like 2 years, two and a half years? We started in 21, and it just came out in March. So
and everyone loves it. Everyone loves it.
Yeah, they did a really good job on the animation. I mean, I'm a particular fan. You met the writers of the first season, the first series, rather. I'm a particular fan of the writing of the first series. I thought they did an amazing job. They aimed it at kids, but it was so much bigger than that. And that's why you can go back as an adult and rewatch it, and it actually holds up. You know, and the new season is great. The new series. Can't really talk about that so much. We just finished recording the second season of it, which is cool. But yeah, and in the first and the original, for the first year, maybe even part of the second season as well. No, it was, because I had my son by then. We would do group records where there'd be 8 of us standing at microphones in the same recording studio. And it went on for hours and hours and hours. So I do enjoy that, to kind of see what world you're in and to hear other people. And then what I really enjoy is going in and doing cartoons by myself in my comfy shoes where it only takes 45 minutes to do my part.
Well, in the other way that you do it, you're kind of playing off of them a little bit too when you hear them talk.
Yes, no, that's true. And but you know, there's a delay. So even when you've got someone standing next to you at a mic, and they say their line, you cannot jump in because the engineer has to switch mics. So there's like a 1 mosquito, 2 mosquito that you have to wait. But I agree, you hear what they're doing. And what I do with voice directors when I'm in there by myself, either sometimes I'll get them to play if they've already recorded the other character that I'm in the scene with, so I can listen. Or they recorded with them so they can tell me what the gist of the scene, like how it was he angry, what he bought? And then I make the voice director read with me. I make them read the other parts. I'm sure they hate me for that, but it really helps.
Do you have a favorite part of the first show that you liked? Was it the Phoenix or the Dark Phoenix saga?
Yeah, the Phoenix saga, for sure. The whole thing. Larry Houston was talking about it at a con a few months ago, and he said that they wanted to do the Phoenix saga, but they wanted to make sure they did it right. And they knew to do that, it would take 9 episodes, which is unheard of. You know, we were doing a lot more episodes back then than we're doing now.
What was it? It was almost like 20 or 22?
It really varied from season to season. I think the first one wasn't that because they didn't know what they had.
Right.
So there weren't that many. But yeah, the second and third season, and then the Phoenix Saga was all the third season. So yeah, that and my favorite line moment is when she's like carrying the crystal up to the sun, and she thinks she's dead.
Yeah.
And all she can talk about is how beautiful the light is and how she wishes Scott could see it. You know, that's sort of some of my favorite stuff.
Oh, all right. Can I ask you one question about this season that happened?
Sure.
Okay. How was it playing both Jean and Madeline Pryor?
I did not play Jean in X-Men 97.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I am Val Cooper in X-Men 97.
Oh, okay.
So I think she had the best line of the whole show, which was Magneto was right.
You're right. Because that went out on TikTok. It went out on all these social media. Yeah, it was everywhere. Because when everyone was talking about the X-Men 97, that was the thing that everyone showed.
Yeah, no, it's somebody had to say it finally after all these years.
My name is Carl Moline. I'm a comic book artist based out of Florida, and this comic book is Frey, Joss Whedon's Frey. It was a book from 2000 and something. It stopped coming out. And it's been around for about 20 years. It's a great story about Malaka Frey, the future Slayer. If you are into the Buffy mythology, she's the Slayer 1,000 years in the future, and there are flying cars, and ray guns and demons, and it's a really cool story. It was exciting. It was very, very cool. Joss is one of the best writers I've ever had the pleasure of working with, and all the characters were very alive in the script and in my head, and I just mostly feel gratitude to have been included in the process, honestly. At this point, it's out of print. The licensing has moved on to other companies, so it's not being printed anymore. So what's out there is out there, and you can still find them on Amazon, you can still find them in bookstores, you can still find them in comic shops, but it's starting to thin out a little bit because, like I said, they're not making new ones anymore. Probably my other #1 favorite thing was a book called Route 666 that I did with Tony Bedard down at CrossGen Comics in Florida. A story about a young girl who has the ability to see ghosts and monsters through their hidden identities, and it's sort of set in like a 1950s Americana, lots of monsters and demons and cool stuff. It's a good character piece, and it's probably my other favorite.
I'm Damon Bowie. I'm an artist illustrator from New Orleans. I've been working in the con realm for about 14 years, full-time. I left a full-time job to do this. Living the dream, and I've done some work for trading cards and various other things, book covers and what have you, but my passion and my love is the things that I find interesting that I like to render for myself, and some of those things are on display at my booth, but literally every piece I do is a passion piece.
One thing I've noticed about some of your art is it has a lot of pop culture and crossover. Tell me when you're going to come up with one, how you choose what you're going to do.
Well, it's an organic process in that if someone will walk up to me and they'll say, do you have a Deadpool, right? And so it's kind of a con staple. I do have a Deadpool because I really dig the direction the movies are going. I actually loathe the comic. I didn't like him as a character, but I don't do something to have subject matter or content. I do it because I'm passionate about it. So in the instance that I have a newer Deadpool, it's because I watched the Wolverine and Deadpool trailer, and I just thought it was awesome. And that inspired me to do a Deadpool.
That's how you get great art, right?
Yeah, and that's a part of the organic process for creating, not just having content because you may sell it. And it sounds creepy, I'm here to sell, but the reality is that if we're not having fun, this becomes a grind very, very quickly. And so it's the reason why you have, tons of guys here doing comic book work. That's a grind, but they love what they're doing. I'm of the temperament that like to do one piece. So I do lots of covers, and I do lots of one piece trade. I've traded a lot in single characters for that reason as well. I have something personally vested with that character. So that's the energy that I play off of when creating new content.
So what are some of your favorite pieces that you've done?
Well, my favorite pieces, particularly as of late, the last 5 years, by total happenstance, has been John Wick.
That is a great...
Not because I think the movies are absolute masterpieces, but because and this is a little bit of a convoluted story, but there's a gentleman that I know, I'll just say his last name is Williams, and he is a location scout. And I met him at New York Comic Con after not seeing him since high school for years and years. And the odd thing was that he was actually on John Wick at the time shooting Volume 2. So he saw the print I had out at the time and said, that would be really cool. I need to bring that back with me. Well, the production staff saw it, and so did John Wick. Keanu. And so I thought that was really cool. So it started this thing where he started expecting that every year I would have a new John Wick. And it was really a one and done thing for me. But as every movie came out, I get even more inspired. And so literally while I'm watching this 4-hour epic, halfway through I'm thinking of my new design because I'm just that inspired by the character. And those are the things that kind of leave touchstones. And because it's so immersive, that world is so immersive. And every single movie we find out a little more in depth about him, it just creates more and more of this fever that you have to create if you're inspired by that thing. And so John Wick and any of the John Wick pieces I created have been among my favorites. Anything that I do that I want to be rare, because we're an exclusive brand. We only sell at conventions. We have very little presence online, in that there are some things that we pull out of our vault that may have not seen this full maturation in the market, and we'll make that available as a kind of a second chance at it. But for the most part, you can only catch us at a con and only purchase the exclusive editions at the con. The highest selling pieces are generally my con exclusives, which means that while I do content for only one con year, so they're exclusive to that year, and in some cases they're exclusive to that event. We do exclusives that they're consistent throughout the con season. So John Wick would be one of them. The Crow Rain would be another one. This turtle piece would be one as well. The Jedi would be one. At a personal touchstone with JDF before he passed away. And typically I don't trade off of the celebrity dies, so you do a picture of him. But that was cathartic for me because he was a buddy of mine. And then the Batman piece there, Sentinel. So those are our best-selling prints, and those are the ones that we work with a lot of curation. So they're all signed and numbered, and those are the things that we like to create that for the collector base. And the collector base has told us that's what they want. So we'll give them what they want.